Excuse me.
I'm not giving to LeBron. I don't like LeBron.
I like him already.
So there was a constant battle about Dunkin' Donuts versus Tim Hortons, and that was it's never ending.
I got up, I fixed my helmet, I look, and I just see Herb take off. Like he just, I just see the hair flowing, like now we're running, and yeah, you got to see Herb when he runs. His eyes are always like, so I just knew, like I knew he was running, So
man, this guy's unstoppable when it comes to basketball as well. But yeah, definitely one-on-one, he got me.
Fried rice, you can't be eating fried rice all the time. But
you'd be switching your sports. You'd be going from basketball to sumo.
I know. I already got the bun, you see?
You must have liked the way I played that game because he knew me my whole life. There was something about that game that made him be interested in me. You know what I'm saying?
It's because Mace, you're gonna get 285, 280. You gotta, and I'm only 240, so I gotta kind of bring my technique. And then KT's just a freak athlete in itself, so you gotta bring your hard hat and lunch pail every day.
Can I just say this? Man, I just love your competitive nature, bro. Like, I feel like I'm ready to strap on the jersey right now, man. I'm only 5'5", though. I don't know what I can do.
They say, listen, you know how as coaches you get mad at the guy just standing in the corner and watching another guy cook? I can't be like that because I was watching you cook and it
was impeccable. So watching certain highlights, I'm like, yo, I gotta try it. And trust me, not everything was as good as it looks now. Because no look passes I threw off of somebody's face.
So I'm just saying, right? Hear me out.
No, I don't want to hear you out. It's Mac Jones. I'm done. Still out on Mac Jones. Still out. Even though I'm wearing an Alabama hat. I'm wearing the Alabama hat for a reason today. That's it. There's only one reason.
He hasn't impressed you?
No. I'll take Stidham over him.
Oh my God.
What did impress me was that Madden 2022 that they show him, and he's all like, he's got the underbeard. I don't know. He looks like he's 100 years old. I don't know what's going on with that. Madden, get on your whatever it is. Get on your graphics or something. We have a bunch of questions. We have a bunch of things leading into the MLB because right now the NBA seems a little fishy to me. Does it seem fishy to you?
In what way? What do you think?
Quite a few ways.
Quite a few ways.
I think. We can hop into it on the other side, but when it comes to me, if I'm a personal, if I'm a gambler, I'm going to say it's rigged. But, there's so much stuff going on, and I don't even know where to go. There's just so much that I have running through this pea brain of mine when it comes to the NBA. The NBA, they wanted LeBron and they wanted the Nets. But now they're getting, I'm telling you right now, they're going to get the Suns and they're going to get the Hawks.
Ooh, that's going to be exciting.
And it is. But that'll be on the other side.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit more about that in the NHL. But as of now, we have, the main reason I'm wearing this hat is because our next guest, our MLB guy, our baseball guy, this is the guy we're going to go to. He knows baseball a lot more than us, and he's going to answer some of our questions. But he does go to Alabama, so unfortunately, I have to say
it.
But his dog wears a duck collar, so I always say, "Go Ducks."
You know what you got to say, man. Just say it.
Oh God, roll tide. Let's go. Let's get Alex on here. Alex, what's going on, man? Do I have to give you a roll tide, actual roll?
Nah, it's all good.
Can I give you Go Ducks?
That's fine.
Oh, one of these days I'm going to get you to say it. So what's going on? How you doing?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Just
Doing well,
just
man.
another day. We're trying to put our fingers on. I mean, it's funny I say fingers because especially when it comes to these MLB players, you know, what is going on with them, and they're just complete utter lack of, I guess you would say, high school level competition. They can't throw a fastball, they can't throw a curveball because they're not allowed to use the sticky stuff. What when you see that? I mean, I know you played outfield, right?
Yeah, I was an outfielder and I was a catcher. So I mean, obviously,
do you see any correlation to using the spider tech? And you know, I understand the grip, but you know, how does that really affect the play?
So there was a video that came out from the Braves, like media, like the sports broadcasters that do that for them. And basically they were talking about how the spider tech basically is just like completely just crazy, like should not be allowed. Rosin and sunscreen and everything, that's been around forever and it's never been a true problem. But right now, like the big thing is spin rates are up and everything. And like the MLB batting average is at an all-time low right now. So like when offense is down, like that's bad because if you're a fan, you don't want to be seeing guys just going out there throwing 7-inning shutout innings because as a fan, all right, this isn't what I want to watch. But it's like for me, it's like it's interesting because it's like I mean I truly love baseball and love watching it, but just an average fan, I mean fans want to see home runs, they want to see offense, and it's just like you don't want to see that. But like the spider tech and everything, it's out of control. And basically, it's like if I held a baseball to my palm right now, and I had a bunch of spider tech in my hand, I'd just go like that. Ball wouldn't fall in my hand, and it's just like crazy.
Wow.
So like, the big thing is obviously there's things that have been in baseball. There's unwritten rules that like you're supposed to follow, but nobody does. And it's just basically the moral of the story is guys just have to tone it down, so to speak, and pretty much. It's just gotten out of control and pretty much they got to come up with better rules and everything. Like if you saw the other night, Max Scherzer's getting checked. It's like the guy's not
taking his pants off.
Max Scherzer, the guy's won the Cy Young multiple times. He's not like obviously like he knows the rules. He's not going to cheat. But certain guys obviously like it's been called out. They know the rules now and they know what they have to do. But the MLB has to come out and realize it's like guys like there's a pitcher for the Rays, Tyler Glass now. He just blew out his UCL, and he blames not being able to get a grip on the ball for that. So the MLB there has to be like a happy medium. You can't like you have to allow it in some way, but you can't have like spider tech and all that crazy nonsense that's like out there. Like I didn't even know about like that existed, and like use sunscreen and stuff. Like it's worked for everybody else. Like why? Like I mean. If your slider doesn't have like 300 RPMs on it, like it's still a crazy slider. You're throwing it like 80 miles an hour. Like these guys, it's just gotten out of control. It's kind of ridiculous. But
now here's a crazy scenario. Let the pitchers let them keep the spider tech. Let the batters use steroids or cork their bats. How about that?
The thing is, though, you have to be able to hit the ball. If you can't hit the ball, what good is steroids? So. I agree. The steroid thing is a really interesting thing too, because it's like you want to see guys hit 500-foot homers. You want to see all that stuff. But at the same time, it's like, well, if pitchers are using spider tech, like how are guys supposed to get on base if they can't hit the ball because it's just crazy movement and everything. So it's like it's interesting. There's a lot of things that you have to think about. Like if like as a fan, like steroids and everything, it's like it's great, but it's not at the same time because like how you got there, you didn't use steroids. I mean, obviously I can't like say that for like a fact, but like, I mean, you'd think most guys aren't using steroids. You'd think like they weren't using steroids in high school and college to get to that point. I mean, through the minors and everything, maybe that's when it starts, but I just think, I mean, if you're that good, you don't need to take steroids. I mean, everybody's good enough at that. If you're good enough at that level, so nobody else should be doing it. I mean, it's been working for years. I mean, obviously the Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire's like that's great and everything, but it's like at the same time, it's kind of like ridiculous. I think it's like I don't know, but again, like as like a baseball player, you don't appreciate, but as an outsider to the sport, I'd say to speak, you want to see that. So I don't know. But it's really interesting.
That was definitely a good time growing up. I remember going to Fenway Park All-Star Game '99, you know, and I went to the Home Run Derby, and it was just over the monster. It was it was over the Mass Pike. Every single shot was just gone. But then they cracked down. All of a sudden, the pitchers came in. And now it's like the pitchers are starting to get cracked down because what the average batting average is like two. It's
240s or 230s, something like that's if the average is about 250, 260, you can live with that. But once you get down to the 250 mark, that's when it's kind of like, okay, like this isn't very good. Like you want your fans to be seeing guys like Stanton hitting bombs, like Aaron Judge, like all these big name guys. I mean, those are just the two that come to my head because I mean, we Red Sox play them all the time. But like, guys want to see them hit home runs. I mean, I want to see them hit home runs. Like, but at the same time, it's like you have the Groms of the world who are like, his ERA is like 0.6 right now, and that's ridiculous. You want to see both. Like, you want to see great pitchers and great offense. So it's like, at the same time, you got to have that happy medium. That's the big thing right now. You got to have a happy medium in the sport.
And at the same time, you have no name pitchers throwing perfect games or no hitters. Yeah,
that's another thing too. It's like 5 no hitters in like the first 2 months of the seasons. Like, what?
Yeah.
I wonder why. And obviously, you back down on it. But I mean, home runs. I mean, I think they're up right now as well. Obviously, not right now, but like in the last couple of years, you've seen guys start to hit a lot more home runs. They're getting more in the 40s now. So I mean, that's cool to see. You're seeing more home runs as a fan, and I just think that's great. But at the same time, like, I want to see guys like DeGrom just absolutely dominate. But again, you want to see guys hit bombs. So
now I know we talked about this last episode. You know, we had the debate of how the Red Sox are going to do once they hit the All-Star break. Now, once they hit the All-Star break, I mean, they just snagged hold of first place. They're, you know, a half game ahead of the Rays. What do you see them doing as far as, you know, do you, because I said, you know, NBA All-Star, Celtics are going to go down. All these teams that have this momentum going into the break, they lose it all. I don't know. It's either they're going to come straight through the break and they're going to just keep going, or they're going to hit that plateau and just right off.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that I've noticed is it's pretty much like they have a lot of the same guys from last year. And obviously last year's team was not good. I mean, look at the record, not good at all. And I think obviously Alex Cora, I mean, he has a little bit of dirt on his shoulder, and yeah. And I think as much as like you can talk about the cheating and everything, I think there's something about him that I mean, he's a winner. I mean, obviously, like, it may have not been in the cleanest way. I mean, but I still think there's something about him that, like, I mean, if you told me going to this year, would you expect the Red Sox to be in first place on June 24th?
No,
absolutely not.
I mean, the one thing that's really surprising is their pitching. I mean, they have guys like Martin Perez, like these Nick Pivetta. Who else do they have? Garrett Richards and stuff. Like, these are guys that, I mean, aren't great, but I mean, they're going out there, they're giving them 5 innings every night, and I mean, they're scoring runs. I mean, that's the big thing with the Red Sox. I mean, you have Verdugo. Who else do you have? Kike Hernandez. That was a great addition for them. Scrappy little players who are gonna give you great at bats, and they're gonna do what you need. And I think that's one thing. But I don't know. I really could see it going both ways, just because, I mean, obviously their team's not like, they're not star-studded, but I mean, at the same time, I mean, they're playing this well. I mean, who knows? Maybe they can carry the momentum, but I don't know what to think right now.
And I think according to Vegas, at the beginning of the season, they projected their win total. I think it was like 83, 84.
Yeah, I mean, it's nuts.
And now look, I mean, I would say going back to who was it? Who was the head coach before Cora? Valentine. Bobby Valentine. You went, or not Cora, it was John Farrell. John Farrell, yeah. You know, you had the worst, and then all of a sudden you're going into first. And I think it does have some say, you know, towards the head coach. And you would think losing players like Mookie Betts along the way, like these guys that you thought were going to be here forever, and they just wanted the money. But now all of a sudden, like you just said, you have these guys playing for this team that aren't the complete stars. I mean, you have JD Martinez, and we just need to get Chris Sale healthy to actually help out the bullpen.
Yeah, they just said he's starting to throw bullpen sessions now. He's going to start throwing in minor league games, like rehab starts, and I think he'll probably be back late July, maybe early August or something like that. So that's a great thing too. It's like it'd be great if they had one more starter, and like if you keep forgetting, it's like, oh well, there's Chris Sale. Like Chris Sale, like I mean, he's a monster. I mean, he's hopefully that arm in the UCL stay healthy and everything. I mean, because his arm slot and everything is just so funky, all his mechanics and everything. It just seems like he's just throwing all arm rather than using his lower half and all that. But I mean, he's filthy. I mean, if he comes back and he's healthy for them, I mean, that's gonna be bad for the rest of the teams in the American League in the playoffs.
And hopefully he's not wearing that belly button ring.
Wait, does he really have a belly button ring?
He came out. I think it was 2 years. 2 years ago, he came out with a belly button like infection or something. And I guess I don't know if it's true. He's got a belly button ring or not. But Chris Sale's got a belly button ring. I mean, just show it off.
Yeah. Yeah, let's start off something. Give me your top 5, MLB players of all time.
All time? All right. That's actually really hard.
Or if you have a top 3.
Top 3, okay. I'm gonna go top 3. I'm gonna go with it's hard to think about these things right on the spot.
Biased.
I mean, let's see. Babe Ruth, I just think it was incredible that even look at Shohei Ohtani today, like hitting and pitching, doing it both at such a high level. That's incredible. Let's see. Who else? I'm going to have to go Mike Trout. I mean, he's just incredible. I mean, he just does it year in and year out. I mean, he's great. He's a top 5 player, I think, of all time. I mean, he's incredible. And let's see who else. Pitchers, I'm trying to think. I don't know. I'm going to have to show my Braves some love. So I'm going to have to go like Greg Maddux or something like that. I don't know. These are things I'd have to really think about. It's just kind of
no Randy Johnson.
I thought about that, but I don't know. He's a great. I mean, obviously, like you have Stan Musial, you have Luke Gehrig, all these. Like these. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great players. I mean, I'm just rapid fire right on the spot. I'm just
Oh man. So I mean, just looking at the standings, who do you have coming out of the AL, and who do you have coming out of the NL, as far as possible matchups?
Right now, I would say I think Tampa Bay and Boston are gonna. Right now, I'd say they both make the playoffs. It's just a matter of who wins the division and who's winning the wild card spot. Same thing with the AL West right now. You have Oakland and you have Houston. They're both playing really well. One of those two teams is going to come in first, and the other one's going to play in the wild card game against the winner and loser of the AL East. And then the AL Central, like Chicago, they're playing incredibly well right now. I mean, they have a great young core and everything, and they got their pitching. Their bullpen's great, so they're going to be great. The NL East, I have no idea, because you have the Mets. The Mets, I think, are overachieving right now. I mean, they have best pitcher on the planet. Philadelphia, I mean, I have no idea what's going on with them. I mean, they just every year it seems like they're going to do well, and they just float around 500. And then my Braves, I mean, they're struggling. I don't think they're going to do anything this year. They don't have enough pitching, and their bullpen sucks. So, I mean, unfortunately, it hurts me to say that, but I don't think they're going to do well. The NL Central right now, I think the Cubs are doing really well. So, and that's a division I don't really see anybody else winning. I mean, St. Louis has played well at the beginning, but I think they're kind of slumping at the moment. And in the NL West, I mean, that's a crazy division as well. I mean, you have the Giants, you have the Dodgers and the Padres. That's going to be a toss-up. I mean, after the break, that's going to be a 3-man race, and it's going to be a fight to the finish. So I have no idea. And for wild card teams, it's going to be one of those teams out of the NL. It could be both of the teams in the NL West, I would say, because they're just all three of those teams are playing so well, and they just have.
It's crazy to see that the Dodgers, with the team that they have right now.
I love it though. I mean, I love it when these teams that have they're supposed to underachieve and they just beat all these teams who are spending $300 million on players. I mean, I love what the Padres are doing, but at the same time, it's kind of like fun to see like the little brother kind of like give them a elbow and say we're here to hang as well. So it's cool. I mean, it's really fun to see all these good teams and great players this year. So
and what's definitely crazy is you look at last year. You look at the Yankees team.
Yeah,
they were playing all backups. Judge was out, Stanton was out.
I think Judge was out probably for a little bit. But yeah, I mean that's the thing about the MLB is if you don't have any good bench players, you're not going to be good. I mean, you have to have guys come off the bench that are going to give you great pinches at bats. I mean that's huge. That's going to make or break your season. I mean, bench players are so crucial. I mean, that's the one thing about the Red Sox is they can flip-flop players and they can come off the bench and give you great at bats. I mean, they have a lot of versatility, and these teams that are really good, they have a lot of versatility.
Yeah. Hey, if you are owner, of the MLB, give me 2 things you would change. It could be rules or.
Another big thing that's going on in the league right now is kind of like showing players up. So like if you hit a home run like 500 feet and you like throw the bat up in the air and you kind of do like a big celebration. Here's the moral of the story. Don't leave the ball over the middle of the plate so that doesn't happen. Like if I see a guy strike someone out, I want him to get all excited. Like make baseball exciting. Like I mean, there's too many people who are sitting back and saying this game is boring. There's not enough offense. There's not enough excitement. If someone makes a great play, get excited. Like look at football. Whenever someone scores a touchdown, everybody's going nuts. Like if someone hits a 500-foot home run, you should be going nuts. I mean, it's a huge achievement. I mean, hitting a 97-mile-an-hour fastball 400 feet into the stands. I mean, it's so hard to do. Hitting a baseball is supposedly the hardest thing in sport. So, I mean, if you can hit it 400 feet, celebrate. And if you're the pitcher, don't make the mistake. So, I don't know. That's one thing. Let's see. I don't really know. I mean, that's the one thing I would change. I think everything else is fine. They got replay finally. I think it's good and bad, but I like that. I mean, because like there's some calls you're just like that umpire's making. You're like, you got to challenge that. So that's a good rule. But right now, I think baseball's in a good place, other than this silly thing going on right now. But I think it's going in a good direction, and I think there's a lot of positives going on right now in the sport.
Now, what I take away from these rules is last year, right when COVID hit, I started watching a lot of the KBO.
Yeah.
And what I like about the KBO, one thing that I wish the MLB would adapt is the fact that I think it's 12 innings. If they're tied up until 12, they don't play another inning. It's tied.
Yeah.
I think the rate of play is definitely,
Pace of play is another big issue. Is pitcher. I mean, that's the thing. Baseball, there's no clock, and that's one of the things that makes it so interesting. Is like the thing that like obviously to an extent it's kind of annoying. So like if you're a pitcher, you get your sign, you get into your set, and you wind up and you get rid of the ball, and whatever happens. But there's guys like they'll step out of the box like Nomar, like he would get out of the box, fix his batting gloves, spit it, I understand. Like
that was his trademark, though.
Yeah, but at the same time, like you're saying, from the fans' perspective, you don't want to be sitting there waiting for things to happen. You want there to be action, you want to be moving and moving. I think the pitch clock is a good thing because I think there is something the other night, like a pitcher's they clocked a pitcher and it takes 45 seconds to throw his next pitch. It's like, well, that's ridiculous. Like, get the ball, get ready to go, and let's get going. So, but another thing I forgot to say, a rule I've changed is DH in both leagues. Nobody wants to see pitchers hit. Injuries happen. I think 4 or 5 years ago, Adam Wainwright for the Cardinals, he was hitting and he busted out of the box and tore his ACL, and they lose their best pitcher for the season off of something that could have been avoided. So, I mean, that's one thing that's going to change, I think, very, very soon. But that's one other rule I would change. I got to point that out.
Definitely one thing I hated was, I would never match my schedule going to a Red Sox game. So I'd either get Tim Wakefield, I'd be watching Tim Wakefield, or I'd be watching Hideo Nomo. And Nomo would take 30 minutes to throw one pitch.
Yeah, I mean, it's annoying.
He would put you to sleep. He would absolutely put you to sleep. And that's just, I mean, yeah, they definitely do need to do that. But I think they called Shohei. They called him, I think, 3 balks the other night in one game. Yeah,
I didn't see that. That's interesting.
They called 3 balks because I guess they're saying that he didn't set, which it looked exact. I mean, he was set. He came back, set, and he threw it. They called him a buck. I'm like, that is not a buck.
I think umpires had different interpretations of it. So when I was playing our pitchers, one thing you'd do is obviously you'd get the ball and you just be like 1 Mississippi and then go. So you just kind of like get there, get ready, count down, have that little count off, and then fire away.
Insane.
Wow. Do you have let's talk about your the college you're at, man. How's it feel to be part of the Roll Tide?
So it's actually really interesting. So I've grown up watching SEC football my whole life. I mean, I love watching the MLB, but my go-to thing is SEC football. And growing up, I was a huge Georgia fan because most of my family lives outside of Atlanta, and I was just like, well, you know what? They live there. I have an SEC team, Georgia. So I grew up a Georgia fan my whole life. As I'm starting applying to colleges and everything, I'm like, all right, I want to go to Georgia, but I'll put other schools down there just in case something goes wrong. So I apply to Alabama. I go down there. I see it on like the worst possible day. It's cold. It's rainy. It's windy. I mean, it is horrible outside. And we're driving into Tuscaloosa, and we look around and everything, and we're just like, what is this place? This place is so cool. I mean, it's manicured beautifully. Every building is brick and beautiful. I mean, and you got one of the biggest football stadiums in the country that just overlooks the entire city of Tuscaloosa, and it's a truly special place. Like, if you ever get the chance to go to an Alabama football game, do it. I mean, it's an experience unlike any other. I mean, every school has their traditions. Like, I bet Oregon has a bunch of tradition that's really cool because I would consider them the Mecca of the Pac-12. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I mean, it's a great school. I mean, there's so many great things that have come from it, and it's a great place. And I made the best decision of my life by going there. So very thankful.
You're literally part of history going there.
Oh yeah.
That
was amazing. Crazy. That was a crazy night. I mean, we win, and then like we have a main strip area. Everybody's going down there. Kids are up in trees. Kids are up in shoulder to shoulder, and you're just like, "What is going on? This is so cool." It's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a special place, and I'm so thankful I'm there. It's great.
Well, you gotta watch what you say. I got a question coming in right now from the big boss. You touched on spin rates. What do you think about the velocity now in the game? By the way, Mr. G, how you like my hat?
Well, I mean, the velocity in the game is crazy. I mean, that's the thing now is guys are so much bigger and stronger than they were a couple of years ago. I mean, these kids are getting put in weight rooms and they're getting lessons at age like 10. So their skills are at such a high level that they're going to be better and they're going to be faster, they're going to be stronger. I mean, kids are already throwing 90 at age 16. Like that's crazy to think about. I mean, like I'm like they're throwing 90 at age 16. I'm like, if I ever threw 90, I would go pop a bottle of champagne. I'd be like, that's great. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy what's going on. I mean, you have guys who are pumping like 100 miles an hour consistently, and it's just guys are so much more mechanically sound, and they're just so much bigger and stronger. So.
I mean, that's the thing that used to always get me at the carnivals. You know, I'd be going to the pitching booth, and of course, the radar would be right where you are, and yep, there's no way that ball went 36 miles an hour. Absolutely not.
There's a great story actually. I think there was a kid. He was at like a Rockies game or something, and he's in like one of those little tunnels where you can throw, and it has the radar gun. He's throwing 96, and I think like 2 days later,
they picked him up. Yeah,
he signed into a contract. Wow. I think that's hysterical.
That's
little things like that. Like it's like you're throwing 96 in a freaking carnival game or whatever, and you get signed to a big league contract.
It's like that movie Rookie of the Year. The kid breaks his shoulder, and then all of a sudden he's pitching for the who was it? Was it the Indians?
I think it was the Cubs.
I don't know. The Cubs. Yeah. Crazy. Unbelievable. You catch any of the College World Series?
Yeah, I've been watching that a little bit. I mean, obviously, I'm working right now, so it's kind of hard because I work shifts that end in the middle of the games and everything, and I have to get up early in the next morning. But right now, since I've had a little bit of time off, I've been watching. The Vanderbilt game last night was crazy. I think they were down by like 4 runs or something like that, and then they walked it off of a wild pitch. I mean, college baseball is great. I mean, there's so much uncertainty, and everything can change like that. It's college baseball is great. I mean, if that's one thing that's really great about baseball is they're doing a great job promoting the college game. I mean, I mean, it's a little more. It's what you want to see in the MLB, pretty much. Guys getting all excited and juiced up, a lot of adrenaline and everything, and it's just great where that's going. And these schools are investing a lot of money into it, so it's great. I mean, yeah, I mean it's just going in a great direction right now. The sport at the college level.
They still use metal in
yeah, that's another
baseball,
thing. That's a really interesting discussion, because a lot of these great players that are probably going to get drafted to the major leagues in the first round and so on. You'd think you'd want them to use wood. I mean, not use you don't want them using metal bats. Like when they go off to play in the summer leagues, I mean they're using wood, so it doesn't make any sense to use metal. But what do I know? They know more than I do.
That's crazy. Who do you got winning?
The whole thing. Right now, I'm gonna have to either go with Vanderbilt or Mississippi State. Vanderbilt. I mean, those two programs, they're playing the best conference for college baseball, and they have the best kids. Vanderbilt, I mean, they're getting kids. They're the Alabama of college baseball. I mean, they get the best players, they have the best facilities and everything. So I mean, they're great. They have a great coach. And Mississippi State, I mean, they're a great, scrappy young team, and they're so good. I mean, you can go either way. Texas is great this year. Virginia's great. I mean, these are all perennial programs, and it could go either way. But I'm just going to go with those teams because of my SEC bias.
Unbelievable. Somebody's chiming in saying Vanderbilt.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with them. I mean, they're just so good, and they have the experience, and they have the coaches to lead them in the direction they need to be in.
So, besides Alabama, what other outside of the SEC? If please, all
right,
try. Come on, who you liking? As far as
I'm not high.
Just call every sport.
I'm not high on Clemson this year. I think that ukulele kid is overrated. I mean, he went into Notre Dame and he didn't play well at all. I just don't. I don't think he has it. Trevor Lawrence was good. I don't think he's going to be good. I like Oregon. They have a good defense. That's the one thing I think they really have going for them. Thibodeau's an animal. That guy's massive. Just a freak of nature. Who else in the Big Ten? You can't count out Ohio State. They're great. But yeah, I think. I mean, I can't. You said I can't go on about my conference, so I'm trying to be nice.
Trying to be
a little nice. Yeah.
Somebody chiming in on Facebook. Pac-12 is better than SEC.
Okay.
Ooh. Shots fired.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how many more teams are ranked in the top 25 at the end of the season.
Now, when it comes to this is good. This is good. We touched a little bit on it, I think, a couple episodes ago about expanding the college football playoff.
I love it. I mean, the more college football, the better. I love the sport. Yeah. The more you can do to promote it and give it more TV time, I'm all for it. Give me more Alabama football, I'm all for it.
Right, exactly. Because you know you're gonna win it anyways.
Exactly. Just make it a little tougher, and we'll still figure out.
I mean, I'm torn between two. Like I said last time, we actually brought that up with Spencer Webb, who's a tight end for Oregon, and he said, playing those extra games, you got guys going to the draft, and they're not going to play their hearts out, or they're not going to play too hard because they're afraid of injuries. They're afraid of ruining their NFL careers. I see on both sides, but at the same time,
I can totally see it from that side.
Give me more college football.
Yeah, I can totally see it from that side, but I think at the same time, it's kind of on the coaches as well. That part of their job is to promote playing those super meaningful games. Like Nick Saban, like we had 2 years ago when we didn't make the bowl game or the playoff. We had pretty much all of our starters except for one guy playing a meaningless bowl game, and that speaks volumes on the coaching staff and the program. Like they want to play for this guy and they want to play for this program because it means a lot to them. So I think that's one thing, but I can also see a player saying, if there's more games and it's closer to the draft and it means more potential for injury, I can see it both ways. But I think part of going to play there is you want to play in these big games, and the more big games you want to play, you want to play more big games and more meaningful games. There's more of those, so I don't know. I can see it from both sides.
I think people are just sick of seeing the same. I wouldn't call it same 4 teams. I'd say the same 2 teams.
Same.
The other thing too is I think you have to these group of 5 teams. They kind of get shafted. They're not going to be able to schedule the Alabamas, the Ohio States, the Oregons of the world. So you got to kind of give them an opportunity, and you got to show them some love in a way. Do I think they would compete well enough with these guys? No, because what's going to happen is you're going to get seeded against Alabama. They're going to have to go to Tuscaloosa, and they're going to get absolutely trounced. So, but
you guys' crowd is,
yeah, it's crazy,
man.
I'll send you guys.
It's like the Bills Mafia of the South.
Yeah,
seriously.
Yeah. I'll send you guys a video of what it's like in the stadium. It's like before the game. It's nuts. You get in there.
I don't know. I think it should just be the conference champion.
Yeah.
Playing, set them up in some sort of bracket so that they do funnel into, a potential Final Four. That's just me. I was high on Coastal Carolina this year. I was high on BYU, and obviously I love my Ducks. But it's teams like those that go undefeated, and then you have this fraudulent Ohio State team come in, 6-0. They had COVID 90% of the season. That's just me. I got another question coming in on YouTube. Best player you saw come out of Massachusetts and/or someone you looked up to in sports, not necessarily just baseball.
Great question.
Best player I saw come out of Massachusetts. I'm trying to think. I played against some really good kids. I'm trying to think. I want to answer this one to my best ability. Let's see. Well, I played with one kid. He was on my high school team. He was on my travel team. There was one off season he was throwing 80 miles an hour, and then the next off season he comes in, he's throwing 93 to 94, and we're kind of like, where did this come from? And he was a great pitcher. There was talks about him potentially getting drafted, but he went to ECU, and I think he now transferred to URI due to personal reasons. But he was great. His name was Kenny Schechter. He was an animal. Best baseball player I ever played against, I'll answer this though, was Landon Sims. He plays for Mississippi State right now. I remember we had a tournament down in Florida. He's throwing like 86 in warm-ups. So I'm like, oh, okay. You see this a little bit up in Massachusetts. You're like, all right, you just sit back and you get into the box. Our coaches had a radar going to be at him. He's throwing 97. And I saw that first pitch come in. I'm like, well, this is going to be something. And my little claim to fame with him is I had a 10-pitch at bat against him. I fouled off a couple fastballs, but he threw me a slider, and I was done for. I was like, I tipped my cap. But he was great. And somebody I looked up to in sports, I always loved JJ Watt. He was a leader, and he was just a good guy. He was great. He's just a great guy, and that's what I strive to be. Just a good leader and a good guy, and I think he's great for everyone. Just a good guy, and he's great at what he does. So
especially he stuck it out in Houston. Even though he was losing every single, it's terrible. He's with Arizona right now, right?
Yeah. I think that's a great fit. I think him with Chandler Jones on the other side, it's going to take a little bit of the pressure on him. I still think he's got a little bit in the tank. People were counting him out, but it's like, who does he have around him in Houston?
Yeah,
exactly. So he had to do a lot.
People are counting him out. He's the perfect guy to do that with. He's gonna have a couple sacks this year, and he's gonna help them out. That's a team I'm excited to watch in the NFL this year. Is Arizona?
Yeah.
And apparently, I know who this is. It's my father. He said the best player to come out is Steve Durant, Malden Catholic, 2002. Come on. No, my brother was really good. He that was the year they won the Division I championship, and then he went on to play at Suffolk. And then he played a bunch, but. Yeah, that team, that Malden Catholic team was absolutely stacked. There was a kid that went to Clemson, Steve Richard. He was, I don't think he made it to the MLB. I don't think he made it to the draft, but that team was just unbelievable.
Another player that I played against, his name is Mike Vassell. He was another pitcher. He was supposed to be a first-round pick. He was pitching at BC High. The kid was throwing. He didn't pitch against us, luckily, but he had one at bat. He he hit a ball so high in the air and it hit the top of the fence and bounced back into play. I'm just like, these kids that like they're so good at pitching and they just step in the batter's box for fun and they're just doing this. I'm like, this is a joke. But unfortunately, he had some arm issues and he's at Virginia right now. But I mean, he was incredible to watch, for sure. I mean, there's a bunch of players now that I'm thinking about these things, like I'm just thinking about all the guys I played against. But he for sure, he was one that was he was big time.
You should think of all these things afterwards.
Yeah, I know. It's coming to my mind. Like, oh man, I wish I had this answer then.
That's all right. We're like I said, we're gonna be coming to you probably quite a couple more times, especially once NHL and NBA die off, and we have a lot of baseball to dive into. You got anything, Charles?
Yeah. I'm curious to know. All right. So, for example, a big game, right? Like I always wondered, like, what type of trash talking is there in baseball? Like, with both teams, is there, or is it just a look, or just, because I noticed watching, for me when I watch
high school baseball is a little different because you have rivalries and stuff with other towns, and other kids and everything. Like, I would play with a bunch of kids in my high school league. They were on my travel team. They'd go to a different high school. So, and a little more chirpy. It's a little more chippy then because everybody kind of knows each other. There's a rivalry and everything. But I never really had any moments where I got in people's face. It's not like football where you blow someone up in like a gap and you just you're yelling and you're kind of just like, I can't say anything. I just got absolutely destroyed. But I mean, there's been times like you get beamed with a fastball and you're kind of looking at the kid like, come on. But, like, I don't know. Other than that, my mom, I remember one time when I was young, I got beamed with a fastball and I kind of stared the kid down. My mom and dad, they were not happy with me about that. They're probably gonna say something after that. And that was the last time I did that because I didn't want to have that conversation again with them.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's the big leaguers, they do a good job. I'm not a good trash talker at all. I can't do any of that stuff. I kind of stay in the back and I just laugh at everybody else. And I wish I had that ability, but I don't.
Yeah. That's interesting. Oh man. Yeah, the game of baseball, man, is I have one more question for you. Just hearing you, man, and learning a lot of stuff about the game that I didn't know. You seem like you're very passionate about the game, and where did this all come from? How did this all start?
I mean, for me, baseball, like I started out playing baseball. I mean, I like everybody does. Like you play little league and everything, and you kind of like everybody kind of gets that age, like around age like 11 or 12, where you kind of start figuring out like, I'm really into this, I'm really into that. And I was pretty good at baseball when I was younger, and I just stuck with it. I mean, it was one of those things. I mean, people would drop out, but I stuck with it. I mean, I liked it. I like the challenge. I mean, hitting a baseball is hard. I like the challenge of trying to get 3 outs every inning. I mean, there's a challenge in every aspect of it, and I always like challenging myself. And I mean, it's such a hard game, but when you succeed, there's no better feeling. I mean, you're gonna have your highs and your lows in baseball, and you can be riding your highest high, but at the same time, the next day you're going to be hitting your highest low, and it's how you're going to come back and be what you were that day. And that's the one thing that always got me in and out in practice, and just wanted to get better each and every single day when I played. So I mean, it's a great game. I mean, I encourage everybody to play it or at least try it. But obviously, different strokes for different folks. I mean, everybody's playing basketball, everybody's playing football, everybody's playing hockey, lacrosse now too, but baseball is a challenging sport, and when you succeed at it, it's very rewarding. I can tell you that. Very, very rewarding.
It's funny. One of the things that you said earlier when we were talking about, steroids in the batters and, the pitchers with the sticky stuff.
Yeah.
And you said the batters don't have a fair advantage if they can't hit the ball.
Yeah.
What I would suggest, this is me going, in my backyard playing wiffle ball. Okay. You get one at bat with the big red bat, You get a big, you get a slightly, bigger bat for one at bat.
It's like, let's go see Mike Trout get up there with a metal bat. Like, let's see how far. But at the same time, it's like That's the other thing is like these guys are throwing at such high velocities. You bring metal bats into baseball, it's like they're gonna get beamed in the head. And they're like, ever again. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, guys are getting so much bigger and stronger, and it's just there's just a lot you got to do now. I mean, happy mediums. It's like that's the one thing I'm gonna keep saying is, I mean, the sticky stuff and then steroids and all this, but I don't know. There's just a lot. There's a lot of questions and a lot of changes that are going to happen, and it's going to be good and it's going to be bad, and we'll see how it goes.
It's definitely something, you know, especially out here. You get on the radio, you know, every 5 to 10 years they need to go ahead and find something and change the sport up, and yeah, I mean, whatever, you know.
They Nash are probably the most Debbie Downer guys there are.
They are
complaining about everything. They try to stir the pot, and obviously, that's why they are where they are today. It's because they just stir the pot and they create controversy, and that's what they're good at.
But I'm gonna go ahead and say this, Charles. I'm still out of Mac Jones. Give me a reason to stand behind Mac Jones.
Well, was Tom Brady a mobile quarterback? No. And if you're going to take a player, you want him to be in a good system, right? Alabama's possibly the best system there is in college football. He's the best coach of all time in the NFL. Woo. So you want to be under it's a match made in heaven. If you're a Patriots fan, you should be all over this. I mean, it's literally, I'm not going to say Brady 2.0 because of all the accolades and everything, but physically and skill-wise, I think it's pretty much the same player, and I think it's going to be a great fit. They're just going to have to get some guys for him to throw the ball to, and they're just going to have to keep.
He has an arm.
I know he does. I know he's a lot better than Cam. He's a lot better than Cam. I already told you I'm out on Cam Newton too. I mean, this is just, I'm in a bad spot right now. I'm going to switch over to my Chargers. I'm going to be a Chargers fan. Thank you, Justin Herbert. But I mean, I don't. I just look at the Alabama quarterbacks of the past. You know, Tua's not really doing much right now. Who else? AJ McCarron's still in the league somehow.
They're going to give up on Tua because they're just trying to deprive these Alabama players and all that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He even publicly came out and said he didn't know the playbook. Give him more time to learn the system and get used to the receivers he's with. It's with any player. You get like guys like I'm trying to think. First-year players like a Josh Allen. I mean, obviously, like he didn't have a great first couple of years, and then once he finally grew into the system, had all these guys around him, stood everything. I mean, he's arguably going to be contending for a Super Bowl this year. I mean, but we'll see. I mean, I just think Mac Jones is a match made in heaven for the Patriots system and what they're all about, and I just think it's gonna, if everything goes well for him, he's gonna thrive.
Yeah. Maybe I'll come back around. I don't know.
Give it a chance.
Give it a chance. Yeah.
I think around the wintertime when your dad puts out that snowman of the blow snowman of the Alabama Crimson Tide snowman.
Yeah. I remember I came home from school my freshman year and I saw that thing in the front yard and I was like, oh my gosh, what even to this day, when I come home and I see that thing, I'm like, oh my gosh. It's great, but I'm like, oh, come on.
I even texted you. I have a nice sticker, fully available. Maybe I might have to use it.
I'm gonna stick to the Crimson A on the back. I think that's doing me well, and I think it'll do me well again this year.
I don't know. We'll definitely see. We'll see with all these changes, and who knows? I mean, Nick Saban in the captain's chair. I mean, anything is positive. You see all these TikTokers making these videos, or these kids getting recruited, and they're all like, "Oh, this is inside Nick Saban's house. Oh, he's taking us out on the golf court, the golf cart. So hey, look at this lake. There's mansions on the lake." It's like,
yeah, I saw that.
What do you expect?
Yeah, this is one thing that everybody kind of forgets is like, since these are all publicly funded universities by the state, they're all getting they're all these coaches. They're getting their salaries are basically based off tax money, and some they're like Nick Saban's the highest paid government employee in the state of Alabama, and I never thought about that. That's pretty funny. So, all these taxpayers, they're willing to pay those tax dollars, except for in Southeast Alabama.
Right.
He's on them well.
All right, winding down. You got any advice for any of these kids? Still playing the sport right now, or just going into school in general?
Yeah. My advice to you is, if you ever have challenges in your life, there's going to be you're going to have the highest of highs, you're going to have the lowest of lows. The biggest thing is, how are you going to come back and how are you going to be better than what you were in that situation? And I've had that in the sport, I've had that in life, and I've had that in school. So the biggest thing is, it's not where you are then, it's how you bounce back. So if you're struggling in the sport, keep working hard, keep trying. If you're, let's say for college, if you're applying to college and you don't get into the school you want to, that's their mistake. The school you go to, thrive there and basically show the other school they made a huge mistake. And just keep working hard and learn from your mistakes. That's the biggest thing.
And then who you got winning the whole entire World Series?
Whole thing this year?
Mm-hmm.
That's another. I'm gonna go
too close to call.
Yeah, it's too close. But if I'm a betting man right now, I like San Diego.
Ooh.
They got a good bullpen. They have two great players, and they have three horses going for them on the mound. They have Blake Snell, Yu Darvish, and Joe Musgrove, I think, right now. And they have another kid who I think is hurt right now. I forget. Chris Paddock. He's great. And I mean, they're going to get bullpen guys. Bullpen guys are easy to get at the trade deadline. So they're the team that I would not want to face in a 7-game series.
At least you won't be hearing any trash cans.
Right.
You got anything else, Charles?
I got one more question. Question. We'll make it fun. All right. You're a GM of an MLB team. All right. It's draft night. All right. I'm gonna give you 5 guys, and you have to tell me who you would draft and why. Okay. We got Mark McGwire. All right. Second, Sammy Sosa. Third, Albert Pujols. Fourth, Pedro Martinez. And fifth, Derek Jeter.
Out of all those resumes, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, I'm going to take out just because of the steroids and all that. I still kind of use that. That's kind of dirt on those guys.
Yeah,
I'll have to go with Pedro. Having a star-studded pitcher like that, I mean, if you have an ace like Pedro, and building, that's so easy. A bit like a great building block for pitching rotation. I mean, that's great. My number 2 would be Pujols, just because I loved him. He's one of my favorite players growing up. You can't beat a great starting pitcher, especially in today's game. They're so valuable, and they mean a whole lot, especially in the playoffs.
Pedro Martinez. Shout out to Pedro, man.
Yeah.
I definitely miss seeing all those Ks on the Green Monster.
Oh my gosh.
They're gonna come back when Sale's back. I promise.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I think they'll come back. That's great.
All right. It's been great talking to you.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I had a blast.
No, we're gonna have you back on. We're gonna schedule something.
Oh, yeah.
Like awesome. I said, we got a lot of MLB stuff we got to dive into once these other sports wrap up. So definitely we will. We like I said before, we need we need help on the MLB front. But yeah, it was great having you. You got to give a shout out. You got to give a shout out to your brothers. Go ahead. I know you do.
Yeah. I mean, my Phi Kappa Psi brothers at University of Alabama. I love those guys. I got my brother at home, Nicholas. He's
keep him out of Auburn.
Yeah, that's one spot where you're gonna try to avoid. All my buddies I grew up with in Newton. You guys know who you are. So yeah, those are the only guys I really have to thank. So.
All right.
My parents. If they're watch this, they're probably some of the smart people who watch tonight, get some insight. So Yeah, I mean, this is a blast. I mean, I really enjoyed it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We'll
We
definitely
appreciate
get you back on.
Definitely.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Definitely.
All right.
All right, brother.
Guys.
All right.
Whew. That was entertaining, interesting, and very informative.
Yeah.
You know, it's coming from somebody that passionate about the game, learning more about this whole entire cheating scandal, whatever you want to call it, with the pitchers. You know, that's definitely something that you need to go ahead and, look for. But at the same time, there's cheating in all sports. It's just a fact of finally getting caught.
Yeah, and think about it. Like you said, once these other sports wrap up, we didn't even get a chance to ask me a lot more questions, and I'm pretty sure he has a lot more answers for us, and a lot more information to give us. So I can't wait to have him, Alex, back on, and we appreciate you for coming on, man. That was a great interview. I learned a lot about the game, and I wish him luck with his season. Hoping he has a great season going forward.
I don't know. Should I take this off now? Am I obligated to still wear this, or do I toss this on?
Keep it on. Keep it on. Keep the Alabama on. Keep the Alabama hat on.
All right. I will. I mean, there's so much to get into.
Oh, yes.
As far as the MLB, NHL, NBA, even
NHL is interesting. NHL is interesting.
Even some track and field records being broken. Screw it. We're gonna take a quick short break, and we'll come right back into it. And just let us know in the comments if you want us to talk about something in particular. If not, we're just gonna go right for it. But we'll be right back.
Let's go.
My goodness.
We are back. It's a lot of stuff that we need to get into. Let's break it down. Let's start off with the NBA. Let's start with the playoffs. We got 4 teams left. My surprise is the Hawks. Atlanta Hawks, man, are surprising the whole entire league. And I want to give a shout out to Trae Young, because I think he's changing the game in a way where now you can mix it up with the confidence level, and backing it up with your game. If we all have seen it, especially on social media, he's wide open for a 3-point shot. He takes his time. Nice little shimmy, nice little release, and he splashes it. And a lot of people, some people think that he's just being cocky or whatever. But to his credit, he should, because no one can stop him right now. He dropped 48 points, 11 assists. He's leading this young core. And honestly, with this Hawks team, the way I feel about it, they can lose this series, but at the same time, this is a confidence booster for them going forward. They definitely surpass our Celtics right now. So, in that particular fashion of advancing in the playoffs. But, I'm a fan of the Hawks right now. It's still a tough task, them playing against the Bucks, but we'll see. I know the Suns and Clippers are playing tonight. I'm not sure of the score right now, but that's there. The Clippers are down 2-0.
Suns are winning 48-43 right now.
Okay, and
Chris Paul, 30 seconds to go in the second quarter.
Okay, yeah. So that's gonna go down to the wire. I know Chris Paul is back from COVID. The Suns are scary, and I think we talked about this offline. We won't be surprised if we see the Hawks and the Suns go in the finals.
It's crazy. I think this is the first year in 10 years we haven't seen the same 2-3 teams.
LeBron James,
Steph Curry,
or even Kevin Durant.
Well, Kevin Durant bounces around from town to town like keep it PG.
Exactly. But these playoffs, man, are exciting. I'm just more happy for the young guys and for the younger generation that are looking up to Trae Young, Devin Booker. These two guys are literally killing the game right now, and I hope one of those teams get to the finals because I want to see the shift, the change of the NBA, and now it's forcing the older guys to really maybe get back into the flow and
definitely needs to happen,
set the tone. So yeah, I think I'm gonna make a bold pick right now. It might change, but I'll pick the Hawks and Suns meeting in the finals.
That's what I got. Yeah. That's what I got. I mean, unless Milwaukee can somehow shift momentum tomorrow night, I don't know. It's tough, and like I said before, I'm done fading you.
Yeah,
done fading you. So I can't. There was that small little bender I went on picking the Celtics, and what do you know? I lost that notebook. I think it got burned. It got burned by accident. So we'll crown you the champ.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Man, what is that? 2? I'm losing. I'm down 2 now.
Man.
But
NCAA
and
yeah.
I'm in a world of hurt.
Yeah. But I just think I'm happy that this is how the NBA is going to end this season, and it's going to be a better season next year because now crowds are coming back and now it'll be a full off season for players. So I'm really happy for the Celtics. Very happy for the playoffs ending in a good way. So
hey, I'm also very happy for the Celtics.
Hey.
I tried finding it. I wanted to play the clip of me probably, I don't know, like 15 episodes ago saying Al Horford's coming back. I wish we had Al Horford back. I wish we had Al Horford back.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, Kemba. How you feeling about that?
I'm like mixed, but I'm torn between because Kemba was a good fit for us. With his leadership and the confidence that he gave Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum to elevate with their careers. It's tough to see that Kemba couldn't stay healthy, but I just think, maybe this is beneficial for him to have a fresh start in OKC. And they got a young core over there, but, if this can be a year where Kemba can just show the league that, he's worth being signed to a contender. So maybe he gets back to the old Kemba and then gets signed the following year. But we get Al Horford back. He's a little older, but I'm pretty sure he's going to come back even stronger and healthier because I know he was injured in OKC. But they let him go towards the end of the season just to rest. So this is a big pickup. And we got our new head coach. Ime Udoka, and that's a great pickup in many ways,
especially when it comes to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Yeah,
they've worked with him before, and I'm curious to see what he brings over from the Nets. I mean, you can't really talk too much about the Nets because it's that power three, that big three that they have over there. Which right. I mean, I don't know. Would you consider Blake a fourth? Blake Griffin a 4 or no?
I would think he was a 4. Yeah, but Blake Griffin played well in these playoffs. he started dunking again. He hasn't dunked in like 2 years, but I just think it's because he was on a bad team with the Pistons. So, Blake Griffin definitely showed his worth again. But I just think this is a great pickup because he's Emi Aduka is a defensive-minded coach. He was under Greg Popovich. He was under Brett Brown from Philly. And then he was under Steve Nash. So he has that experience, and I think it's just going to be beneficial. And like you said, I heard Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown all said okay for this one because of their relationship in the Olympics in 2019. So I just feel like this can be a fresh start. Brad Stevens, in my opinion, is 2-0 in his GM, 2 for 2 in his GM position. Let's see what he does with these pickups in the offseason. But, it's good to be a Celtics fan right now because it seems like, all right, now, and again, Philly's out, Brooklyn's out. So in that division, no one's won anything. So, and the Lakers, that's always a win-win. So the Lakers are out. So, still tied with the championships with the Lakers and Celtics. So we'll see what the Celtics do, man. We'll see what they do.
I just think this whole entire playoffs right now is good. It's good for the league. It's good for the league. Not seeing, like we just said, the same teams. And, I don't know. I'm torn between the Suns and the Hawks. I don't know which team's going to win, but I know they're going to be in the finals, and it's going to be a hard-fought 7-game series. Oh yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. I mean, definitely. And even hopping over to hockey. Woo! The Islanders won tonight.
Nothing like games. They won.
They won. No, what today's the 24th. Yeah, they won last night to tie it up. I'm losing track of days. That's what happens when you have a day off. Right now, Montreal has the chance to advance if they beat Vegas. It's tied 2-2. We all know what happens when I go ahead and call out these scores and I call out the team that's going to win. This happened when I called out the Colorado Avalanche versus Vegas when it was tied 2-2 in the second period. And I said, Colorado's going to come back, win it. What happened? Vegas went on to win 6-2. Anyways, I don't know. This Montreal team is just, I think they're a better team.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the same rivalry we've had before being, a Bruins fan. It's, there's just there's no hate towards them anymore. And especially, they fired Claude Julien. What happens to teams when they fire Claude Julien? They go deep in the playoffs. You saw it the first year when the Bruins fired him, brought in Bruce Cassidy.
They won
they made it. I think they made it to the wasn't the fine. I think they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. The East. I think they made it to the East. Anyways, I think this Montreal team has the advantage, and it's crazy to see. I've been hating on these Montreal, these Canadian teams because they're playing the same Canadian crappy teams every single game, but they come down here and they're keeping up. Yep. I don't know. I still think Colorado was the better team, but clearly Vegas was. But who you got?
I think I'm just gonna say this because I want to see it. I'm gonna go with the Vegas Knights because I want to see both games going being a game 7. Yeah, and this is gonna be. I just love game 7s, no matter what sport is it. It's nothing like a game 7, and I think I'm gonna go if Vegas ends up winning because they need to win this game. I think they'll take the series and get to the finals, especially with the Islanders and Lightning. Being a game 7, we'll see how that plays out. I'm a little torn between that game because it's been an up and down like game by game. One team goes 8-0, and then the next. So that I'm torn between that series because if with the Montreal series, you would think it would be them going, but we'll see. But I got the go Vegas Knights winning this game.
Who do you have winning the Stanley Cup?
So that's what I'm saying. So if Vegas gets to the finals, I'm just gonna go with Vegas. I'm gonna go with the Knights.
I don't know why. I called it when the Bruins were going to play the Islanders. The Islanders were the tougher team throughout the whole entire season. If I'm going to pick a team to win, I'm going to pick the Islanders. They're going to win the Stanley Cup this year. And, I mean, I might as well just say Vegas. They're going to win tonight. so that Montreal wins.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's going to be the Islanders versus Canadiens finals, and it's going to be something crazy. I mean, when was the last time these two were in the Stanley Cup finals?
Exactly.
When was the last time these two teams won a Stanley Cup? I don't know. It's just it's crazy. It's crazy. This whole entire this season was just a roller coaster. I mean,
but the Bruins could have easily been in this position. They could have.
They could have, but the whole entire thing with Tuukka Rask being injured, Bruce Cassidy playing him, knowing he's injured. You had a healthy young Jeremy Swayman on the bench. Why wouldn't you play him? Why wouldn't you just some of these teams, their starting goalie struggles, they pull him. They have no problem pulling him. I think Tuukka Rask would just pull a hissy fit if he were to get pulled, and that's just me. I mean, I've seen what he's used to doing, down when he played with the Providence Bruins. He gets, I think it was an overtime shootout, and they put the puck behind him. He got pissed off. He slapped his stick against the goal post, went down the tunnel, started throwing milk crates on the ice.
Too emotional.
I think being a superstar goalie that he is, he has trouble closing it out. And when it comes to power in that locker room, he's got it. For some strange reason, he's got the power in that locker room. But hey, he's going to be out until December, January with his torn labrum or whatever the hell it was. But I think we're going to see some good switches when it comes to goaltenders in net this upcoming season. I don't know. I want to talk about Sha'Carri Richardson.
Yeah. Shout out Sha'Carri Richardson, man.
Absolutely.
That's not an amazing story, man.
Absolutely unbelievable. She got the nails. She got the hair. She got the tattoos, the piercings.
You fancy, huh?
She's out there breaking records.
Oh my god,
records, and she's only 21.
And the special thing is, I think it was someone was interviewing her. She does not care what you think of her. She doesn't care what you say about her. She's gonna kick your at the end of the day. And she's humbled. And she could be one of the greatest to ever do it because of her approach to her craft. And you just see it, man. I follow her on Instagram, and just to see how she carries herself and how hard she works. That's what intrigues me. And I think the sky's the limit with her because I think she can dominate this sport tremendously with the track. So hopefully she keeps going with her journey because she has a story to tell and she's showing it right now.
And it's definitely crazy. That brings me back to why I love college sports more than professional sports. And
exactly.
That's just one of the main reasons, just because of the heart, the determination, and pretty much when it comes down to it, everything that they're playing towards their futures, and they don't care. They're going to leave it all on the line.
Do you think it's money? You think it's money that changes?
I think
them
it
after?
definitely is.
Yeah.
Definitely is. I mean, I wanna try and get somebody from the track community.
Yeah.
I have somebody in mind that I'm gonna reach out to.
Okay.
Alex actually has ties to him.
Okay.
He's He's a Duke Blue Devil.
Ooh.
I'm gonna reach out to him. I'm gonna see if
Yeah.
he'll come on. I like I said before, I want to start digging into some of these other sports that that just shed light, shed information on people like me and you that we just catch things here and there on yeah. I want to talk track and field when it's not an Olympic year.
Exactly.
Not just it's the Olympics. All right, we're gonna watch the 100-meter dash, or
Right.
we're gonna watch this, that, and the other. No, let's
dive into
it. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna reach out to somebody in that community, see if they'll come on. And like I said, I got somebody in mind. Hopefully, he'll be able to come on.
Please.
But I mean, other than that, we got another good guest.
We got maybe 2, 3, 4 more important guests too. Different sports too.
Definitely.
And you mentioned Olympics. Wink, wink. We might have.
Like I said,
like
we're
that.
coming out with the punches. We have one. We're gonna drop on Saturday.
Yeah.
Who we got? She is. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
She's she's an athlete, and she's very good at what she does.
Yes.
Put it that way, and definitely somebody to watch out for.
Yeah.
Moving forward, we do have some good
Yeah.
good guests lined up after next week. And I think next week we're going to have a special surprise guest in-house.
I can't wait for that one.
So we're gonna you already know. we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna leave it at that, but it'll be just if you're a Celtics blowhard, just get ready.
Yeah.
But do you have anything else you want to bring up?
I want to mention something. Catch myself and Dan. We might be, heading to. Well, we will be heading to a special event. We had a guest that we had on months ago, Lamont Thomas, Play for Peace tour. Want to shout that out because we might be there and interviewing people. So it's a nice pro-am event that we got invited to, and let's see what we can do with that. So catch us out there.
We dropped the link. We dropped the picture of what time. It's from 5, right? 5 to 9.
5 to 9.
I think the pro game is going on at 8 o'clock.
Yep.
Pro athletes or pro basketball players, D1 players, you name it, they're going to be there. John Hope Park, Providence.
Mm-hmm.
It's next Wednesday.
Yes.
Be there, and it's for a good cause.
Yes.
Lamont's doing amazing things for his community. Like we talked with him, he's doing amazing things. Not only is he putting on the Play for Peace tour, he's got his own cafe coming. His own what do you call it? The Hall of Fame Cafe.
Hall of Fame Cafe.
Get ready for that. We're going to be talking the TEF, the energy bars.
Yes.
You name this guy is just he's doing so much for his community. He's doing so much to give back, and it's amazing to see. And if you guys don't get down there, you're crazy. You're crazy. Yeah. And to support a great cause. Play for Peace Tour 2021. Yes. John Hope Park. Wednesday,
June 30th. We will be there. Erase the Chalk will be there, and we are very excited to be a part of this because it's a special event, and it's special to me because I actually played and won a championship at John Hope Settlement House. So that's even a great feeling, and it's good to get back to Providence, Rhode Island, and experience this up and coming event, which I'm excited about. So we appreciate Lamont for inviting us, and we're gonna give our best effort going forward in that event. So, thank you, Lamont.
If you guys are going, take the day. Head on down to Providence. Go to Dave and Buster's. They got the huge mall. It's like 15 stories tall.
Yes.
Just go. Spend the day. The Paw Sox aren't there anymore, but spend the day in Providence.
Yeah.
Great food, great places to visit. Yeah. And then you get to go watch a bunch of pros, a bunch of D1 athletes play basketball for a good cause. For a good, great cause. We're gonna go pop that information on our stories, on our YouTube channel, on Facebook, everywhere. We're gonna blast that and just hope for a great turnout. It's always a great turnout. I've seen videos of past, and it's an amazing turnout. But other than that,
that's it.
Next week's guest dropping on Saturday. Be prepared, and then we're gonna roll with the punches. Yes. We're gonna roll the tide with the punches.
Yes, sir.
All right. We will catch you guys next week.